have ever been to a party like that before. But thank you so much for coming today, and thank you so much for humoring my love of public speaking by listening to me give a little bit of a talk here. The first thing I want to say is that I'm sure a lot of you have seen I'm fundraising for the Sarcoma Foundation of America this past month, and I've been really trying to get 100 people to donate $10 each as part of this sort of month-long fundraiser, because my actual anniversary was about 10 years ago. Sarcomas are a very, very rare cancer, and a lot of people don't know what they are. So because they're different than normal cancers. They're different than carcinomas. Sarcomas only account for about 1% of all adult cancers, but they do account for about 20% of all childhood cancers. And that is because sarcomas are a cancer that normally affects those that are young adults, children. And it's normally found in the connective tissue and the bones, and that differentiates it from normal cancers, breast cancer, colon cancer, the ones that are very common. So that means that we are, as sarcoma survivors, chronically underfunded because not that many people even know about it. Most chemotherapies are not really shown to be effective on sarcoma patients. It's usually a surgery that helps because you can actually just cut out the cancer. But hopefully through this fundraiser and through more awareness, we can bring more treatments to people that are diagnosed with sarcoma. So my diagnosis was 10 years ago, probably around this time in May of 2012. And that was clear cell sarcoma, which is kind of the rarest of the rare. It's like there were 53 cases across the world in a 17-year period. And most of those were in the arms and legs, not in the belly like mine. So it's something that, I don't know if I'll ever meet anybody that has a clear cell sarcoma. And when I looked up the statistics online for survival, and of course, very small sample size, right? Keep that in mind. But it's 56% for 5 years, it's 33% for 10 years, and 10% for 20 years. So when you're 26 years old, that can be a really difficult thing to read online, and to try to understand that the way that you envisioned your life might not be the way that it goes. So that's one of the things that has really prompted me to talk to people, because I know there's a lot of people that need hope and they need inspiration and they need positive stories. So that's one of the reasons why I've done kind of this fundraiser and the videos, if some of you have seen those videos. And I have had quite a few donations, and I wanted to take a chance to say thank you to those that have donated. Because we have had 27 donations and we've a total of $1,090, and that kind of surpasses the goal, which was originally $1,000, which is great. So that's from a few people here: Lorraine Schneider, Linda Farrelly, Audrey F.D. Chio, John Brown, my husband, who's chasing down my children right now, Cindy Pridmore, Heidi Rozovsky, Linda Lana Bates, Gail Denkinson, Ron Benedict, Dena Marie Baker, Amelia Araheta, Amy Venturina, Crystal Chambers, Ron and Fran Gordon, Robert Kelton, Dee Dee Dowling, Ellen Collender, Steve Rogers, Melinda Lattes, Michelle Collender, Tiffany Kenny, Terry Deemer, Joanne Sandridge, Gil Dong, Joshua Thiessen, Andrea Davis, and Joy Adams. So far are the 27 people. However, my dad is in town, and he just informed me that on behalf of Ming Realty of McKinleyville, they are going to donate $500 to the Foundation of America. So I really appreciate your donation. I appreciate everybody's donation, because this is really special, and it's something that really I want to try to give back, because in the beginning I wanted to kind of hide from that diagnosis, but now that it's been so long, I want to try to affect change if I can. And having this donation, having the donations of all of you, and putting us at $1,590 raised in 1 month is amazing. So let's give a little round of applause while airplanes are I want to conclude, and I'll try not to make it too long, with my 10th perspective shift since surviving cancer 10 years ago. And if you've you've been following online, you've seen I've posted nine. I just posted one this morning only on YouTube. So I could get to number 10, which is really the one that I feel like has hit the closest to home and is kind of closest to my heart. And that shift is that growing old is glorious. And I want to start by saying how a few years back, it was probably about 5 years ago, I went to a work networking event. I think it was in the Inland Empire, so it was quite a drive. And a colleague, not somebody I knew very closely, came up and she kind of rushed in at the last minute right before the event started. And she said, man, I'm getting so old. I just can't do this anymore. I can't do these drives. I can't do these commutes. You are so lucky. You're so young. You've got all the energy. Oh man, growing old is the worst. And, you know, I was about 31, 32, and I smiled and I nodded and I just kind of played into it. And the truth is, though, that we hear and see a lot of these complaints every day in kind of the common vernacular, the narrative. You know, growing old sucks, right? I hate my gray hair. I hate my wrinkles. I don't have any energy. My hangover lasts 2 days. But, you know, throughout that day, that conversation really weighed on me because I didn't say anything. But I thought later of what I should have said, and that is to just stop. Growing old is glorious. There are so many young, bright lights that are simply extinguished and don't have the opportunity to flicker and fade. And that's something that I really want everyone to think about. Because if you think that growing old sucks, what is the alternative? What are you saying then? You don't want to grow old? Because there's a lot of people, that's a very realistic thing for those of us that are diagnosed with sarcoma, to not have the opportunity to grow old. So I think we really need to flip the narrative. We need to think about it. When you grow old, you have a wealth of memories. You have a beautiful life to look back on. You might have some aches and pains, but think about just how amazing the human lifespan is to be able to live, 70, 80, 100, 90 years. And everything that you can experience in that time and the wisdom that gives you. There's so many people, cancer survivors, but also people that don't, that have tragedies that happen of any kind, where they don't get to that. When you grow old, you get to see that story arc. You get to see the beginning, the middle, and a little bit of the end. And some people have that cut short when they're still on the kind of ascending part of that story arc, including the children this week, the fourth graders. And I don't want to hear people say it. I don't want to hear people complain about growing old, because there's so many of us that that's a wish, that's a wish on a shooting star when you're battling cancer as a child or a young adult. And I want everybody to recognize that growing old is glorious. So thank you to my closest friends and family who are joining with me here today. I want to have a toast with some champagne. And I want everybody to try to remember that if you can. If there's anything you remember out of my 10 mind set shifts, that one is the most important to me. And thank you so much, everyone, for coming and everyone for donating. Love to you all.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, thank you.
Cheers, man.
All right, are we off the live stream now?
Bye, guys.